What brands were big back in the day?
What year?
Like when you were like maybe like 13, 14, 15.
So like
South Pole.
Iceberg was big. Remember with the characters, like the cartoon characters, that brand? It was kind of expensive too. So Iceberg, and in middle school still like Tommy Hilfiger, Nautica was popular.
Like the big
Platinum
jackets.
Fubu.
Fubu?
Platinum Fubu.
What was the difference?
You know, Fubu was just the regular Fubu. Platinum Fubu had the Fat Albert and all that.
Oh, okay.
What else? What else was popular back then?
I remember South Pole, Mark
Pole,
Echo.
29. I never was into Echo.
I don't know.
Rock Echo. But
I rocked a lot of Echo.
I was into
that
Echo.
That red shirt with the little rhino on it and like the parentheses. He also had a video game, like a tagging video game.
Like I was never a big Echo wearer. I know Evisu jeans. Remember with the white, look like white paint on the back of the jeans.
Oh yeah.
And then no, that was more high school, college. I was about to say red monkey jeans. I don't know if you remember those.
Nah,
those are crazy. Yeah, that's what I remember.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of Cordon Bleu, a show where we talk about music, how music makes us feel. What music has done to our lives. And for this first episode, I brought my friend, co-worker, traveler, what else would I do? What, a rapper.
A black man.
A black man who takes care of his hair. I got Cam Miller.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I think it's crazy how some, like at a certain point, rappers changed from wearing like streetwear like that to wearing like branded shit.
Well, wait, branded is what?
Like Gucci and shit like that.
I was about to say, I thought you was about to say stop wearing the baggy stuff and the jerseys, because I remember that happened because of Jay-Z.
Really?
Jay-Z made Change Clothes, and that whole song was about like giving up the jerseys and the baggy clothes, putting up more button-ups. And so that's when the button-ups with the jeans style came in.
That's when
it was still baggy, but it was still like more button-ups and jeans. I don't know if you remember that era.
All I picture is like B.O.B. and like a big button-up shirt with like a chain.
Yeah,
like shit like that.
That's why jerseys went out of style. Because remember, throwback jerseys, everyone was rocking.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted it. Fabulous was the king of throwbacks. Jay-Z came out with Change Clothes, and jerseys died.
That's what the song was about? Damn.
Yeah. Change clothes.
I kind of thought it was like, I guess it makes sense.
Like,
yeah.
You know, it was about a myriad of things, but that's basically the message he was getting across, and that's where it all changed.
Damn.
And then Kanye started being popular with the backpack style, so that kept brought all of that back.
It's kind of like not nerdy, but just like normal kind of. I think some people call it like normcore, where people like dress normal on purpose.
Like jerseys haven't been back since. Like people wear them to sports games, but just as your style, that ain't really been.
You know where I see a lot of jerseys at a bunch of like concerts or raves. It seems to be like,
well, you need something light material. You trying to stay cool if you're gonna be jumping and everything. So
yeah. I think I remember wearing like, I was probably like 12 or 13 when like the baggy clothes era like was still a thing. So I was rocking that like 2X white tees.
Oh yeah, the white tee era was crazy. That era and then that's the same era when the snowman shirts came out and all the schools banned those.
Why they banned
the South? Because they found out that Jeezy, it was a cocaine
like a gang related
so
thing. Oh damn!
They banned them in my school.
So,
and in the South, they were like, y'all cannot wear that shirt. I mean, it was a Southern thing. Jeezy was big in the South, so I don't know how being in California if he translated out here, but I remember when his album dropped. I didn't even get this. Is not even on my list. It's funny, but I always remember this clearly. So. My mom is from Georgia, so I used to go to Atlanta a lot for spring break, like growing up, and stay with my aunt. And she lived on the east side of Atlanta, and the east side of Atlanta is black. I mean, if you go there, you'll be shocked if you ain't used to seeing that many black people, because going to the bank, everyone black. Going to the grocery store, everyone black. Like everybody is just black over there. So I remember when it came out in Miami, me and my friends, everyone was just blasting Jeezy. But when I got to Georgia, you know, he's from Atlanta, every single car if their window was down and blasting music and they were young at least, Jeezy. And I was like, God damn, this shit's like a phenomenon.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't hear nothing else. If they were like my age, like from like teenager to up to mid-20s, they would rock blasting Jeezy.
Because you grew up in Miami and then went to Atlanta for college.
Yeah.
So I grew up here in California, and like it's so crazy because like I understand now like how he was so popular, but like back then I just remember him like, oh yeah, he's on MTV sometimes, or there was like we had like a music video channel, at least with my like cable, and he would come on sometimes. I'm like, yeah, like he's cool.
But back
like,
then that's how you got big, because there was no like social media wasn't there like to push you yet. So for your album to sell, you had to go on TRL, 106 in Park, had to have a music video, and then remember MTV Spring Break, that was huge for artists. So you had to be more on those platforms to sell, and that's when music is still, you know, you buy CDs, so you had to be out there.
What was the first Jeezy song you heard? Because I think mine was the first Jeezy like anything I heard was Icy with Gucci Mane.
I think the first one, and I don't know if Icy came before, because I definitely know Icy because no, it had to come before Icy, because Icy, I think I was either in college, freshman, or about to go to college.
I guess when it came out.
But I remember him on, you know, he was in Boys in the Hood, that group.
Yeah.
On Diddy's label.
Oh, Diddy's label, the
so
Making
it was
the Band.
him, Jody Breeze, and I forgot who else, but that's when I first heard Jeezy. So then I started
2005.
I started listening to Jeezy, and then I started listening to Jody Breeze, and I was like, Jody Breeze is gonna be the star out of this group. Boy, was I wrong. Jeezy came and took that whole mantle, and then when he dropped, I heard him on So Icy. I'm like, all right, I like that. But when he dropped Thug Motivation 101, that was it. Because I think the thing that made it so big is like I've never heard a sound like that. Like the best way I always describe his beats back then, they're hypnotizing. That's why when on the second track, second album, when he came out with that song Hypnotize, I like, that's the perfect title for him, because his production, it sounded like a scary movie. Like I think it was Shorty Red was making it, and it sounded like a scary movie. It was so dark and like captivating. I was like, this shit is crazy. Like soon as the first track on Thug Motivation come on, you just like, you in it. And it was amazing.
What's the song with Akon? That name is Soul Survivor. Soul Survivor was one of the first ones where like I was like, oh, I need to actively like look into Jeezy songs and stuff. So that song and songs around that time, like what were the ones I wrote down? Songs like that, Lovers and Friends, and a bunch of T.I. songs. Like I associate T.I. and Jeezy and even Ludacris to an extent. Ludacris is a different story, but to LimeWire, to going on LimeWire. That's I think when I was like around that age, same 13, 12, whatever. When I finally started developing my own like taste in music, and I think we grew up at the perfect time to where we can just go online and find whatever. Like I would remember I found that, and I would find songs that like I would just type in like Jeezy and then or Young Jeezy and find like whatever was on there. That's how I learned. That's how I got into his catalog. That's how I learned about T.I. Who else did I think 50 Cent, Eminem. That's when I like all started getting into all that kind of music. I remember what was it? White Tee by them Franchise Boys. That was a big one, but like they also had like Black Tea, I think that was Gucci Mane, maybe. Yeah. And then someone had Pink Tea, which they
just kept flipping.
They just kept going.
I was big on LimeWire because I was selling mixed CDs and albums, so everyone would come to me for that. So I would always be on LimeWire all day, downloading music and downloading porn. So two things I was downloading on there, and I'll just be trying to find new music. It was like dumpster diving. Just online.
I used to go to girls and be like, hey, like I know how to make CDs, so give me a list, and they'd give me a list, and I'd go home and download like and make them that CD. And I think it's funny because I like found a bunch of songs that I loved like from doing that, from like I think maybe like they heard it, like I don't know, from a relative or however you hear music, and then they're like, oh, I want to hear that song again, so then they tell me to get it, and then I download it, and then I love it.
I think that's the difference between me and you. You was trying to give them the business. I was trying to get business.
Eventually, I charged. I charged.
Oh yeah, I was selling CDs. I wasn't doing nothing for free. No. And then I got to the point where I started making like the labels, print out labels. So I would like go and get
with the printer, like
So and it would print out in CD, then I would stick it on there. So then at that point, I was like going to get whoever's the hottest vixen at the time. Like I'll have Melissa Ford on there, and then have the songs. Or if it was Lil Wayne's album, I'll put Lil Wayne on there, and have his album. So
I think I used to do that, but I would not make the album. I would just put like my own greatest hits. So it'd be like Eminem, but then it's all my favorite Eminem songs. I think a couple of times I would do like, I used to do themed ones. Like it's kind of funny because I do this now, but I would do themed CDs where it's like, it's all where people are screaming, and it's all like rock songs. It's all like sad, whatever, you know, like anything.
I would do genres. I would do all kind of shit. And then I remember this dude that was older than me put me on game because he was selling CDs too, and he was making more money than me. And he like, what you need to start doing too is getting movies. And he said, that'll up your profit. I was like, all right. So I started getting movies. Then it was one time where
just ruining the family computer.
Oh yeah. And then it was one time an old friend of my dad came, and he stayed with us for like a week. He just needed a place to stay, and he was like kind of in between homes, and he sold different things. And when he left, he told me and my brother, he said, I left y'all something. It's in a newspaper sleeve. And it was like a stack of DVDs. Like, I'm talking about stacked up. I'm like, oh, he left us movies. We look in there. It's all porn. So first thing we do, watch them all.
Right, of course.
Leave a lot of DNA everywhere. But then after I was done with them, I was like, and it was like duplicates too.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm about to sell these.
Like, I'm bored of these.
Like, yeah, I'm about to sell these. So what I did, I went to school, and I was like, you know, I would have my CDs, I had the movies, and in the back, the section, I was like, look, I got this too. And people was like buying them more than everything else. I was like, all right, I'm about to sell all of these. So then I hired two people. I hired Mike and I hired someone else. I said, hey, we selling these for $5. You give me $2 out of the profit. You keep $3.
Right.
So give them incentives to sell. And so I had them two working. I was selling. And then like within a week or two, sold all the porn. And I was happy to get rid of them because I know if I get caught selling CDs, DVDs, it's whatever. I'm just going to be reprimanded. They may take it away. They catch me selling porn, I'm going to get suspended or maybe expelled. So I was trying to get them out as fast as possible. That's why I sold them cheap.
The whole topic of today's episode is songs that, you know, bring back specific memories. I wrote down a few. I think you wrote down a few. The first one that I wanted to bring up was, I didn't say it earlier, but it was this Ludacris song. Now, Ludacris, my sister, I talk a lot about my sister, like, being an influence on my music taste because she's 9 years older than me. She was the person that was playing music that I thought was cool the first time. So a lot of the shit I just bit off of her.
That's why y'all even grew up together, being 9 years older.
Well, I have a brother that's 18 years older than me.
Well, I know y'all didn't grow up together. So, but I'm just saying, even when you were 9, she was 18, so she was about to leave. So it's like,
basically. So it's funny because like I didn't start to like her music until she actually left to college. So she was already gone to college, and then she would come back and play music. I'd be like, oh shit, like, because that's when I thought my sister was cool. I think I was like 9 or 10 or something. And then eventually my music taste came from that. But she would always play these like just wild like CDs like Papa Roach, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Rage Against the Machine. But she would also throw in like rap too, like Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg. But she kept playing this one song. And it was a Ludacris song. It was Saturday. And it was that like
that beat crazy.
That beat's
they
crazy.
Just threw everything on that beat.
But it's literally just that ooh, ooh, just that little part. I remember like so vividly being a kid singing that like or like I forgot the other part goes now.
Ooh, sticky iggy.
Ooh,
yeah,
that sticky iggy.
I just loved his cadence on there he chose.
Fucking great song. But like I think I just like the novelty of that, like that, and then I found the CD eventually because I had no idea. Like I had no idea who it was by, what it was called, nothing. I asked her like, "Hey, what's that song?" And I sang that part, and she's like, "Oh, it's this one." But like, don't listen to it like out in in the house or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. My parents had like a language barrier, so they literally didn't understand most of what the lyrics were saying, except for the song that I'm about to bring up. So yeah, Saturday was the first one I heard, and then I eventually found his CD back for the first time. Wore that shit out. Fucking played that shit CD every day.
Remember where I got my first one from?
Loved it. And then, you know, eventually getting through Ludacris's catalog, he came out with, I think it's on Red, it's either on Chicken and Beer or Red Light District. I can't remember which one, but he has a song called Screwed Up with Lil Flip. And that song that song has like, the opening is just fuck you, and that. My mom understood that and threw that CD away.
It's funny you saying, like, parents be throwing CDs. As soon as they hear, like, I remember when Snoop Dogg's album, either his first one or second one, I can't remember which one it was. It's whatever one is like all blue or something on it. But we took it to our grandparents' house in Macon, Georgia. We were staying there. I think it was the holidays or something. And me and my brother listened to it in the CD player.
Right.
Remember CD Walkmans? Yeah. So we listening to it and we just bobbing our head. We just rocking with it. And our granddad looked at us. He said, "What y'all listening to?" And we was like, Snoop Dogg. He like, "Snoop Dogg? Who's Snoop Dogg?" He like, this is a rapper. He like, "Let me listen to it." And I was like, this ain't gonna be good. Yeah, they go to church every Sunday. Yeah. They be listening to the gospel and all this stuff. So he put it on. He just listening. He took it off. He was like, "Let me get this CD." I was like, fuck, man. And we gave it to him. Never seen that CD again. He just took it from him. He said, "Y'all don't need to be listening to that." I was like, I shouldn't have been at that age, but it was good.
Yeah. Do you think he secretly listened to it later? No, he's probably like...
Honestly, one day, I remember when I got older, I had to go get something from his closet. And I was like, after I got it, I was like, let me see that CD in here. I just started looking around. I don't know if I remember if I found it or not, but I was like, that's why I assumed he put it for some reason.
His closet?
Yeah, in his closet. I don't know.
Still in his car.
Who knows?
But when was the first time you bought that Ludacris album?
Well, I didn't even buy it. My cousin in Macon, again. I was riding with him. He was dropping me back to my grandma's house, and he started playing it. And I'm just in the car like, yo, who is this guy? I'm liking this. And I was like, who is this? He like, you ain't never heard of Ludacris? I'm like, no. He like, he from Atlanta. And I was like, this is his second album. His first album, Incognito. I like, I didn't even hear that. And I was like, I can have it? He like, no, you can't have it. And the whole ride, I was like, please, just let me have it, please. And eventually when we got there, he gave it to me. I was like, thank you. And I just played the hell out of that CD.
Oh, yeah.
It was that, and he introduced us to, I don't know if you know this group, Crucial Conflict. They had a song called, Hey, they smoking on, hey, in the middle of the barn.
Nah.
Yeah.
Maybe if I heard it. But
so, and I begged my grandma to get that. Remember, they used to sell singles back then.
Yeah.
You could just get the single. I was like, can you buy me the single? And she made my older girl cousin go get it for me from the mall, but she like, get him the clean version. God dang it.
Damn.
But hey, I got it. I was happy and I just kept playing it.
The clean version. Fucking.
I hated the clean version.
I had a neighbor who, let's just say he was of the lighter shade. And his parents did not allow him to put LimeWire on the family computer. So they bought every song, on Apple iTunes. And every song had to be the clean version. So I don't remember what song. Because I Got High by Afro Man.
What they say, because I got.
They just nothing. It's just censored.
Because I got. That's trash.
Yeah, and I don't remember what other songs, but I just remember listening to it and being so mad. Like, why the fuck did you do this? Like, we know what it sounds like. And then he's like, but my mom checks my music. I'm like,
damn,
I don't know what to tell you.
My parents weren't like that.
Yeah,
I had all kind of stuff on that. My mom first ain't computer savvy, so she don't never use a computer. So
same. My mom's never touched a computer.
She wouldn't even know how to turn it on. My dad, he is computer savvy, but he had his own laptop. Like he had a work laptop.
Yeah, my dad know how to use it.
Yeah, and when he come home, he on TV.
Yeah.
And so he ain't like on the computer just be having fun.
Right.
So that computer was me and my brother's computer, and it was in my room. So he would walk in to see what we doing, but me didn't know what's on that computer. That computer had all kind of stuff.
Just stuff that if anyone saw, it'd be pretty bad.
Yeah, I had everything. LimeWire, AOL chat, just everything.
Yeah. The one that I had, the next one that I had, this might even lead into one of yours, is every T.I. song back from when he first started. I think Rubber Band Man was the one that like solidified that I'm like, oh, I'm a T.I. fan. Mm-hmm. But I had a homie, the homie that would be the person that download, like the guy that had LimeWire. Mm-hmm. So he was a huge T.I. fan. Mm-hmm. And every song, every CD, remix CD, whatever it was, if it was T.I., he got it. Mm-hmm. And I was a huge Ludacris fan, and I would buy, like, basically do the same thing. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, like, because they had beef, I guess.
Oh yeah.
He like assumed, like, he would just say like, no, T.I.'s better. And I'm
Ludacris won that beef.
Oh, Ludacris did win that beef. But that's what I associate, like that era. Mm-hmm. Any T.I. song that's like from the first 2 albums.
Yeah, I'm Serious and Trap Music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
And Urban Legend too.
That's the third one.
The third one too.
But yeah, I was a huge Ludacris. I was my favorite rapper at that time. But I love T.I. too, because when the first time I heard T.I. was on his song "I'm Serious" with Beanie Man, the music video came on. I was like, I knew Beanie Man, but I never heard T.I. I was like, what is this? This is fire. Then I got that album. I listened to Hotel and everything. I was like, that's fire. And then what solidified me as a T.I. fan, when he dropped 24s. 24. I was like, yo, this is fire. But then Rubber Band Man's on trap music as well.
Yeah.
And I know this for sure because I listened to this yesterday. While I was in the car, I was like, I want to listen to T.I. trap music. And I just put the album on. So that's on there. There's some heat on there. And then Urban Legend. Thing I remember about Urban Legend, that's the same time around the Jeezy Thug Motivation, Carter 2, 50 Cent. Like, that was in a 2-year span. I like, those 2 years had some of the most classic albums that everybody was playing, and that shit was crazy to me. So I love that era. I'll never forget that era. And then I remember the first recollection of music for me, though, and that was Miami bass music. So like booty shaking, twerking, what they would call it now, but Miami bass music. And I remember the very first video of my recollection, like remembering Miami bass, is Tootsie Roll. So I'm like 3 or 4, and I'm at my babysitter's house in Miami. I'm playing, and they had the TV on, and then Tootsie Roll comes on. And I'm looking at the TV, and I'm just mesmerized by the movements, because they in there dancing, doing Tootsie Roll. Girls are twerking. I didn't know what twerk was. Right. I was just like, this is amazing. I was like, what are they doing? And I just sat there Indian style in front of the TV, stopped playing, and just watching it. And like, I'll never forget that. And every time I hear Tootsie Roll, I think of me sitting there just watching it, because it just blew my mind.
Something similar to that is when I was probably around the same age, 3 or 4. Now, I grew up, in a Mexican household, and I had not a nanny, just a lady that would take care of me while my mom was working. And she was also a lady that came from Mexico, and she would bump the shit out of Mexican radio. And I mean, the Mexican radio at the time was basically the same way radio is now. It's the same, like, 20 songs just over and over again. And there was this one song, I don't remember the singer, but it was a Spanish song. It was called Música Romántica, which just means romantic music. And it has a really, like, catchy melody to it. And I would sing the shit out of that song, like, like that, like that. And I sang that probably for, like, when I was like 3 until I was like 6 or whatever. And it was a huge mistake, because for the rest of my life, anytime that song comes on, my entire family looks at me and it's like, it's your song. And I'm just like, God damn it. So I can't.
Is it a good song?
It's a great song. Did it hold up? Okay. It's a great song. I'll play it for you after.
If it hold up.
It holds up. It's just annoying that like that song was like a song that points like, it feels like it's like a dig, but whatever. Another embarrassing song, like a song that brings in an embarrassing memory, is the song Lost by Gorilla Zoe?
I would need to hear it.
So it's a song, there's a version I think that features Wayne, so that's the version I'll play for you later. But in that song, it's like a slow beat. He's talking about how he's like lost in the world, blah blah blah. But that's not the reason that song triggers me, I guess, is back in high school, we had to do a kind of something artistic for extra credit, and it had to involve like whatever we picked out of a hat. So we picked, I think like ancient ruins. Let's just say it was ancient ruins, whatever. So one of the options was make a rap for it. And I was like, I don't want to do anything else. Like everything else looked like either it's going to take up too much time or it's too hard. So, and it was a partner group. So it was me and a girl. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to like rap, but I was going to do it bad on purpose. Like a bad rap on purpose. That was the goal. And then when it was time to get up there, like I just froze. Couldn't get a word out. The beat was playing and I was just like, I'm the ruins. I'm lost. I just couldn't. Nothing came out. And I'm like seeing people stare at me, and like it's making it worse. So ever since then, and then like it ended. The teacher's like, "All right, take a seat."
You lucky socials wasn't back.
Yeah, if someone recorded that, I'd be fucking.
You lucky with
dead.
no video phones.
What makes
social media?
What makes it terrible is, and I might take this part out, but in that class there was somebody that was like teasing me, like making fun of me, like in like a like I don't know how to explain it, but like it wasn't like they were actually trying to hurt my feelings, but they were making fun of me. Yeah. But that kind of made me feel worse. And that person
jeez.
So I don't want to say who it is. But I forgave him because we became homies after. But yeah, I still remember that day so vividly. The moment, like being up there and not being able to say the word. And I have some trouble public speaking. Like it's not a secret. But back then in high school, it was fucking
I had
worse.
that too. Like growing up, I always was super nervous to do public speaking.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. It's like I'm still not the most comfortable with it. I'm way better at it now. Like it just be like when we used to perform live, it's something about like our opening that we did would make me so comfortable. It didn't matter how many people was in there after that. I could just talk, like, because we would open up with this dance number, this big intro, and then right when that's done, it goes into my segment where I got to talk, and then they act out what I'm talking. And after I did the icebreaker of the dance thing, I was good. Like, I was always good, like, not nervous at all. I could just talk to whoever, be making jokes. And then there'll also be times with me with public speaking where after I'm done giving my speech and say they just start asking questions now, I'm totally good. It's like, I don't know. It's like, I'm not nervous anymore, but I guess if you more you prepare, the better you are. But I still struggle with it a little bit, but it ain't nowhere as when I was younger.
Right.
Like, that was really bad when I was younger. I used to be nervous.
I think I try to avoid every public speaking
And then another key thing I would do when I did have to do in school, I would go first.
Oh, yeah.
Like, let me get it over because just sitting there, your anxiety is just running. I'll go first, and then you can make any mistakes, and the teacher forgive you. So I just go first.
In college, that was a big thing.
Oh, my embarrassing moment, my embarrassing music story is: do you know Pastor Troy no more playing in GA?
No.
Like, what's up? Big mouth, big talk, big game.
What's up? Big mouth, big talk, big game.
You don't know that? You don't know that song?
No,
So it was a big.
I will after this episode.
Big Pastor Troy song in the South, and well, my brother. Remember, he's 6 years older than me, so I'm younger than him. Gullible. He comes and he plays it for me, and it's it's different people on the track. I'm like, yo, this is fire, and he like, that's me. I'm like, that's you. He like, yeah, that's me, and he named his best friends. I like, that's y'all for real? He like, yeah, listen, you can hear it's me. I was listening, I'm like, yeah, it do kind of sound like y'all, so I'm listening. I'm like, it's fire. And I told my friend, hey, my brother got a song. I played it for him. He like, that's not your brother, that's Pastor Troy. I'm like, what? They're like, that's Pastor Troy. That's not, unless Pastor Troy your brother, that's not your brother. I like, Pastor Troy ain't my brother. So I went back there and I'm like, that ain't you. They said it's Pastor Troy. And he just started laughing. I was like, you an asshole. That shit was embarrassing.
You telling your homies.
Yeah, telling people I know that's my brother. And it was Pastor Troy.
Does he sound like him?
No.
Okay.
I was a gullible, stupid kid. I'm young, so it's easy to trick us. He used to have fun with that. So
okay, I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and say mine's a little more embarrassing.
I mean, of course, yeah. But it was just embarrassing to be bragging to your friends and they know it's not him, and they the ones who tell me. I'm like, fuck.
You're like, fuck. And then you kind of
now
feel
they
like,
making fun of me.
Yeah.
So all right.
Nah, yeah. I hate. That's the worst kind of memory where it just triggers like a. Like, oh fuck, I felt.
But it ain't one of those where I'm like, I was hurt by it. It was just, regular teasing. I was never bullied.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I was probably bullied, and I don't remember. I used to be a little bit bigger, and I think annoying as a kid. So I probably
used to fight bullies in elementary. I didn't like them. Yeah, stupid to me. Like, what you bullying people for?
One that's another memory. It's not an embarrassing one. I would say it's more like a I don't know about sad, but I used to have a dog, and towards the end of his life, like we knew it was coming. So I remember one last trip we took to the beach together. And on the way back, this one song called "On Melancholy Hill" by the Gorillaz. You know the Gorillaz?
Yeah, I know the Gorillaz.
Yeah,
but I don't know
that song is like I would say like a slower melodic song.
That's the group that always did the cartoons.
Yeah. Even the music video for that song is actually real crazy. They're like in a submarine, and it's a girl who's like an assassin. She's trying to get away. It's fire. But that's the song that played like on her way home, and I remember like looking at him. I'm like. So every time that song comes on, like I kind of tear up a little bit, and it kind of sucks. Like it's a good song, and like I like that song, but like I can't listen to it.
I feel you. It be songs like that. It's like "Mama" by Boys to Men. I can't listen to that song. It's too emotional.
Does it remind you of something, or just
my mom? Yeah. So it's like if I hear that, I get mad. Like turn that off because it just gets you emotional right away. It's such a great song. So it's like, God forbid, the day it comes for everybody. When my mom passed, I know I definitely won't be able to listen to it. I don't like listening to it now.
Right.
So I can imagine when she's not here listening to that. Like, absolutely not.
Yeah, no.
I hate that song.
There's a song that's like I don't know if it's gospel or whatever, but it's Ave Maria. You know that song? It's like I don't know, like opera. Fucking, it's just like a singing song. I don't know, but it's like a church song, I guess, and. A lot of the times you'll hear that when people die, and every like relative that I've like gone to the funeral, that song, every time that song comes on.
That's a Mexican like gospel
song.
it's
I think it's Italian or something.
Right.
It's like people if people watching this probably know what I'm talking about, but and you probably know it once you hear it. It's famously in the movie Hitman.
Oh, Hitman, like the video game?
Yeah,
I don't think I watched that movie.
Oh, okay. It's like one of the songs on there. But yeah, that song reminds me of that. Another core memory that I had is the song Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen.
Yeah. Great song.
I remember the exact moment I heard it for the first time. I was with my older brother. We left the Dodger game. The Dodgers were losing. And we left, and we listened to it on the radio. And by the time we were halfway home, they got the lead, and we were both like upset because it was against the Giants, who was like the rival.
San Fran.
Yeah. So like I remember we were listening to the game, and we were both upset. And he was like, "God, forget this. I don't want to listen anymore," because he was mad that we left the game, and we left because he wanted to leave. So it was like he was like double upset. So he just puts on his disc changer, puts on a CD, like literally grabs a CD from his, like, the little sleeves. And he's like picking one, found one, put it in. First song, Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm listening to it. I'm like, the first part, I was kind of, at first I was like, what the hell is this? Because it starts off with like a singing, and then it gets to the opera part, and I'm like, okay, what? And then I'm like, hey, can you start the song over? And he's like, okay, like just not even like, doesn't even cross his mind. And he just starts it over, and I'm like focusing on every word and every part, and then the part where the switch comes in, and then a third switch comes on later, and I was just like, what the fuck?
That was a great movie too, and they made some great music, like timeless music that's still to this day you hear. But Bohemian Rhapsody, even that name to me, always stood out to me. I'm like, that name is phenomenal.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Like. It sounds like more than just music. It sounds like it could be a restaurant. It sounds like it could be a drug. It just sounds like that name alone is fascinating to me.
Queen had like, I think I remember We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions because
sports
or stuff. Yeah,
like that, and that's what's funny to me. It's like I never knew that was Queen growing up, just going to sports events and you just singing these songs. You know these songs, and then you find out, wait, that was Freddie Mercury? Yeah. Like, that's crazy. And then it's funny, he's from Zanzibar.
Yeah.
The most random shit. So when I was in Zanzibar, we went by where his house was, and you see the picture, and it's like, that's so random. He's from Zanzibar. Like,
and he just got big in England because
they moved. Yeah, they moved. I was like, This nigga's from Zanzibar.
Yeah, it's so random.
So random.
I mean, hey,
the house is still there. You see his picture on
do people live there?
I think
Is
they
it a
turned it maybe
museum?
into a hotel or something, I believe.
Okay.
So, yeah.
He must have left when he was like 17 or something.
And I think he was way younger than that. I think he left as a child.
Oh, man.
Because it's in Stone Town, which is like, you know. I think I told you this, but the time I thought Biggie was my cousin, the first time I saw Biggie. And
like
it was the Juicy video. I'm young again.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there. I'm at my aunt's house this time. I'll never forget it. Me and my brother watching the TV. And then they play Juicy. And it come on, you know, he got that yellow jersey in there.
Yeah.
And we looking, we like, that's Binks. And my brother like, yeah, that is Binks. And we like, Auntie K. She come running in. She like, what? She like, Binks on TV. And she like, that's not Binks. And then we like, huh? And then we was just fascinated looking at it because my cousin looks like Biggie. Like they were like the same size,
right.
6'4", like big guys. And I was like, what
are the odds?
We just thought we thought Biggie was him. That was my first time ever seeing Biggie.
Yeah.
And then we even told him, and he was laughing about it because he's older than us. He's like the oldest cousin. So he was like, I think he like 13 years older than me. So it looked like him to me at my young age. But yeah, that was funny. How you were saying how like a certain year reminds you of music or a certain time in your life. And like, I'll never forget Atlanta. Like that snap movement. When we first moved to Atlanta, the snap movement was the biggest shit. So everybody in the club snapping and like.
So like we know the hits like
Lean With It, Rock With It.
White
franchise
Tee.
like White Tee.
Yeah.
Young Jock thing was going down. What else? What else snapping to? Buy You a Drink. All those songs. And then they had classic like Atlanta songs that were big during that time. And anytime I hear any of them songs, I go right back to college.
I'm looking up the 15 biggest snap hits. So 15, Cherish by Sean P. Do It To It.
Yep.
Bubblegum by K-Rab.
Yep.
Laffy Taffy.
Yep.
Get Silly by VIC.
Vic. Yep.
I remember that one. Showstopper by Danity Kane and Young Jock.
But that was big because they were Bad Boy, but they wasn't really playing that.
Look at Her, One Chance.
I remember that, yeah.
Bet You Can't Do It Like Me.
Oh, yeah. Now that was being played.
Crank That Batman.
Yeah. Because I remember Soulja Boy, Superman came out there. Yeah. I got that video on Facebook. Us doing that. Like that's one of my first videos we recorded.
Crank That?
Oh, yeah. It was big.
I remember Crank That Batman was a big one, but there was also Crank That SpongeBob.
It was all kind of crank that on YouTube.
Was Up by Bo Hagen.
Oh yeah, Bo Hagen. Who am I? I'm Bo Hagen. Yeah.
It's Going Down.
Yep, Young
Of course,
Jack.
I mean that one's pretty obvious. I Think They Like Me. The So Deaf version.
The remix, yeah.
Crank That.
I Think They Like Me.
Crank That.
Yeah.
Snap Your Fingers.
Young, Lil Jon.
Yeah, Lean With It, Rock With It, obviously, and then Buy You a Drink.
Two-Step, DJ Unk Two-Step was big during that time. Then when 3 Stacks got on there, made it bigger. But then there was like classic little Atlanta songs that when I hear them, I'm like, Atlanta. It just takes you right back to that time. And that's one of the best times of my life. College is so fun. So you just think about clubbing and partying and women and it's your friends. It's shit fun.
Around college, it's funny. When I first started college, I was big into like rave music. Like I would listen to Excision. I would listen to what else did I listen to? I listened to a bunch of just EDM shit. And at a certain point, I remember there was this one song. I believe it was called Subs by Yuki. And it's literally the entire song is just a big bass, like not distorted, like a weird bass sound and a clap, nothing else. It was so simple, but I loved it. And I was like, man, like, why do I like this? Like, why do I enjoy a song that's literally just bass and a snare or whatever? Yeah. And I started like thinking, like maybe like my shit's like it's changing. Like maybe I'm starting to like things that aren't like standard because like at that time I think was the SoundCloud area where like Lil Pump and all that was getting popular. I'm like I don't like
that was college for you
2016.
Damn, that's crazy.
I mean I graduated high school in 2012. I skipped 2 years after high school. I was worked at Porsche, and then I went to college 2014. Yeah.
So I graduated college when you still in high school. That's wild. But I think that's what makes it cool. Like, where you from and everything dictates almost sometimes a lot. Like, of course you can listen to anything wherever you're from, but you are going to listen to what's proximity of you. So like you being in Cali, I know you know about the jerk movement and listen to and are tuned to certain sounds and tempos because of that. Me being from Miami, the BPM is faster. So things like the music, like I'm tuned to music that's fast. And then even as being in Atlanta, there's certain Atlanta songs that you only know if you were in Atlanta. So when I hear it, it just takes me back. And then my style, the way I view things based on where you're from, I think that's makes this world so cool. Like even everything you say you was listening to college, I'm like, that was a totally different. Like the songs you naming, I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. Songs I'm naming, you're like, I don't know.
I think there was a moment though where the EDM stuff kind of came to like I kind of got like sick of it. So I went in two different routes. I went the completely different route. One of my friends, we were driving. I forgot where we were driving. It might have been to the airport or something. And it was a long drive, and he had aux, and he played a Smiths song. Now I already knew who the Smiths were, but I just never really cared. I'm like, they make cool like in whatever. But it was then he played it, and then I like maybe it's because it's been so long that I've heard it, and I was like, damn, like I feel this so much. There's a song called "Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now," and in the song it's just like, I was looking for a job, then I found a job, and I'm still miserable. It's just shit like that. But it's played like in a happy sounding song.
What make it funny is like sometimes you gotta live life a little bit to appreciate a song. Like sometimes you gotta go through what they talking about to appreciate it, or you have to something to spark. Like, and that happened to me recently. Like Mike put me on, Larry June.
Yes.
So Mike likes Larry June. When he first showed me Larry June a couple years back, I'm like, all right, this is cool, but it ain't nothing that's like really like got me. I need that. Made me a fan. I recently, last week, heard an interview from him where he's explaining his music process, and I like what he explained. I was like, let me listen to other interviews. I started listening to more. I like how he thinks, and then I started listening to his music, and I got it more for some reason. It just connected with me more. Now this week, because this is recent, I've been listening to all Larry June, and now I like Larry June. So it's just funny how life worked. Like before, I was like, and now
it's kind of the same way. Whereas like that song, like the song I was talking about, like I wouldn't have got it if I didn't spend a bunch of years working, or like a song, like a breakup song, like they hit harder. Like
when you go through
a breakup, like I can't fucking like an Usher song, like hearing an Usher song, like actually Usher specifically reminds me of like being interested in girls for the first time, because I think I was a 6th or 7th grader. It might have been 6th grader, where we had a school dance, and the first 2 songs I ever danced with a girl to were "Burn" and "My Boo." So like those 2 songs, like every time I hear those songs, I'll remember being in that fucking Boys and Girls Club, dancing to both those songs. "My Boo" being the song that closed the night, and then the lights came on, and everyone was like, okay.
And that's why music's so important, man. It locks in memories. Like it transports. It's like a time machine. It takes you right back there. And it's like, that's why I always put this hypothetical in my head. I don't know why, but people are like, would you rather have movies the rest of your life or music? I'm like, I love movies. I'm a movie buff. Give me music, because I listen to music way more than I watch movies. And like, you gotta listen to it in the car, you go to concerts. Movies are good because of music. Like it brings out the emotion even more. So it's like, that's what I love about music. Like it could bring up your mood, it could take down your mood, it could save your life. So many people like, when you made this song, you saved my life. I was going through that. So it's like such a powerful medium, and I love it.
That's why every time I hear "I Believe I Can Fly," Space Jam.
Jump off a roof and you try to fly. That's funny. Yeah, Space Jam for sure when I hear
that. Do you remember when you had a moment where like your music taste kind of changed, or when you started like?
When you asked me that, I haven't really, because I'm trying to think. Because growing up, I had a very Southern ear. Like I loved this Southern. That's where I was. So I wasn't too heavy on New York. And then I got into Cali music, with Dr. Dre and Snoop, so that was fire. And then I got into the Jay-Z's a little bit later, just a tad bit later than everything else, and I loved it. But I think the most recent memory I have of music switching is like 2014 when we moved to the last house you seen. And I told myself, like, I don't want no TV in my room. I want to read as many books as I can. That's where my self-improvement journey started. So I was reading Four Agreements, The Alchemist, all these like.
I recently read The Four Agreements for the first time.
It's my favorite book.
Right.
So I like when anyone asks me for a book, I suggest that. I love that book. It changed my whole mindset. Like that's what started everything. And then when I started reading them, I started wanting music with more substance than just like like a Lil Pump, Gucci Gang. Like, that didn't resonate with me no more. I was listening to Nipsey and people that's saying something. Like I was going back into my Jay-Z's, Reasonable Doubt, like actually people saying things. Even they didn't necessarily have to be positive, but actually substance. Like they talking about their life, their upbringing, instead of this catchy hook. So that's what comes to mind.
Like my change, like around that time where I started breaking away from like EDM, I remember just liking songs that were either very simple in concept, but like still energetic. Like it's my favorite band, Talking Heads. Like this is around the time where I started to like love them because of just the way their songs sounded. So simple, but also like memorable. But I also like went into a different route where I wanted to hear shit that was like a little more extreme, and like that's why I started getting into like Death Grips. I think I showed you Death Grips before, or you know who Death Grips are. No, I've shown you before, so if I play it again, you'll remember. But it's basically just like heavy noise, like just heavy noise, close to EDM, but it's like still like rapping. I don't know, it's hard to explain. So I went in those two, like either it has to be extreme and like sound crazy, or like simple and sound beautiful. It's kind of weird how that works.
You know what's funny? Sometimes when we're talking about music, I don't know if there's a certain one I watch, but a bunch of people do it where they like, my dad reacts to this album.
Yeah.
Is this one I watched? They're Canadian. I don't know if you watched that one. The dad's like a musician.
Yeah, and the son with like longer hair. Yeah.
I watched them. That's how I be feeling sometimes when you be telling me about certain songs. I'm like, I have no idea about this, because like I was listening to a lot of rap, a lot of reggae, alternative rock. I was never really big into heavy metal or like
what would you say like alternative rock? Like what would you listen to?
I was listening to Coldplay and I was listening to Fun, like Fun. That's their name, right?
Fun.
Yeah.
We Are Young.
Yeah, them. I like them. I liked. I was listening to Hey There Delilah and all that stuff.
The Plain White Tees.
Yeah, I like that. Who else I was listening to on that side? A little bit of Green Day.
See, I was always like Blink-182, Nirvana.
I listened to some Nirvana because it was so classic. You always hear Queen. I like Queen because I just kept hearing it everywhere. But like, if you go heavy metal and stuff, like a deep, really rock, I wasn't really there.
I guess it depends. Like when I was younger, I was into Motorhead. Not Motorhead, sorry, Megadeth. Megadeth.
I mean, I heard of them, but nah.
Megadeth. It was started by the original guitarist, the guitarist of Metallica when he left. It's a whole fucking thing. But I remember I used to listen to them because my neighbor was like a fucking fanatic, and like I thought he was cool because he was older and he worked on motorcycles and shit. Yeah. So he would play it, and I'd be like, "What is this?" And he would be like, "Oh, Megadeth," and like. He would literally just be like, so Dave, whatever, just go on and on about like what the band was about. And then he's like, never listen to Metallica. So I like never listened to Metallica because like, oh, he said it's lame. So like, I'm not going to do it. And then eventually I listened to Metallica. I'm like, no, I like this shit. Like, but I didn't really grow up with too much. I grew up more like Mexican music and then rap just because of my sister and rap. So I don't even know where that interest came from. But
I would assume your sister, because you always saying your sister put you on them when you be telling me, so I would assume that. Yeah. And now you're in the band.
Now I'm in
the band. Yeah, like everything around me was reggae, R&B, rap, pop. Like my parents, like I remember they had a sound system in the house, and they had a bunch of CDs, and I remember the first, like the CDs I remember seeing like Michael Jackson, New Edition, Smokey Robinson, Who else? Marvin Gaye. like it's certain old school artists. When I hear them, I think like when I hear Marvin Gaye, it sounds funny, not in like anything romantic or sexually, but I think about my aunt because she would always be playing Marvin Gaye. So as soon as I hear Marvin, I just think about my aunt because at her house, I guess that was her favorite artist, and I think that's the best male singer. He's phenomenal. I love Marvin Gaye. And then my mom, she had a white Saab. And she loved Sade, and she would always play it in that car. So whenever I hear it, I think of that car. Yeah, so it's like certain old school artists I got recollecting. And my parents grew up they was in college in the 70s. So like the funk movement with like George Clinton and all that, the funkadelic stuff I'm used to, like hearing Ron Isley and them. Like I remember all of that period of my life. So that's what I was used to hearing. And then when I started listening, it was a lot of Southern rap, and then got into Cali rap, and then got into New York rap, and then R&B, and then alternative rock a little bit later, and then everything. I was trying to listen to everything but heavy metal. Heavy metal just never, it's just noise. I guess that's how some people describe rap, but to me, that screaming stuff.
See so it depends. It depends though, because like there's different levels to it. There's certain songs that like are scream songs that like I'm out. Like I can't do it.
For me, I got a couple.
Yeah.
Well, I've been. Are you talking about this recently? Been listening to?
That's what I'm pulling up my most recent. Like,
so I have a playlist called Bops, which is like more up tempo. This Bops. I've been listening to this dude Rome just put me on. It's a Florida artist called Real Boston Richie, and it's featuring Lil Durk, and it's called Keep Dissin' Too. It's just something about the beat that as soon as it come on, I'm in it, and then I love the hook on it. I just love what he's saying. I like when people talk their shit. It's just I love it. Large Amounts by Young Dolph. Say A by Boogie with a Hoodie. That's more like playful. And then I'm still listening to that Jimmy Cooks by Drake. Now
that's a good song actually. Yeah, that's probably the only good song on that album, at least in my opinion.
And then more slower tempo, the vibey stuff. I've been listening to Larry June. So I've been listening to him. I found this dude named Q, and he has a song called "Take Me Where Your Heart Is," and he got a song called "Garage Rooftop." And both of them videos, especially the Garage Rooftop, if you watch the Garage Rooftop video, you want to be in love. You're going to want to get in a relationship because it's just so beautiful. But I've been listening to Steve Lacy too, the Static, and what's the other one?
Bad Habit.
This is on my Bad Habits on my beach playlist.
It's a great song.
Let me go to that. I've been listening to that. So Bad Habit, this song called Tie Dye by Everywhere. And I found this white guy named MKG. You know him?
MKG?
Yeah. He had a song called You, and I Know How You Get. Been listening to that. And then...
Not MGK?
No, not MGK. And then the last song I've been listening to is by Darius and Wayne Snow called Equilibrium. It's more like a house song. I love it.
Are you into house more now than... Like you feel like it's coming back?
I've been like house. Yeah. House is cool. Like especially that. If I'll play it for you off air. That style of house I really like. And then I think what got me back in house really was when the pandemic hit. Frank Ocean dropped this song called. Start with a C, man. Why am I forgetting it? I did it. I did a video for it on IG. I did like a little reel before reels or reels during the pandemic. It started Ciendo or Cierande. Like I think it's CEYRANO, something like. Let me see. I don't know if it ever made it to the
streaming.
But
yeah, I can't find it.
Let me see right quick.
But it's like a house kind of song.
Yeah, it's a house vibe. Let me see. Think.
Cayendo.
Yeah,
I see it.
Yeah, but I think it's the remix though. And he got like a high pitched voice on it. And I was like, when I heard that, I heard that, I was like, let me go back and listen to some house. And I'd start listening to house because I love listening to Selection. They'll put me on a lot of stuff. So,
real quick, speaking of Frank Ocean, like that song came out like around the time that I graduated high school and started college, and that whole album and all of like Tyler's early like discography.
Talking about Nostalgia, Ultra.
Yeah. And Tyler's original album, like I think his first two albums, like bring me back to that time where I'm like
Odd Future.
Yeah, where I was like an adult, you know, going to college, like doing what I want. So like those songs like
his maturation is really impressive to me because like
Tyler's?
when he first came out, like that first song with the cockroach, I'm like, oh, this is a cool song. It's cool. And then I heard his other stuff. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
But it's when Cherry Bomb dropped. That's when I became a fan. Because I was like, these melodies, like he's good with melodies and
you could always tell he was always good with like piano. It's just he didn't know how to present it.
He was growing, and then now, I'm a fan now.
It's so great. I love that transition from Cherry Bomb to Flower Boy. Phenomenal. Yeah,
that's when I became a fan.
That's a great album run. Like Cherry Bomb, I think it's not. I don't think it's bad, but I think it's his worst album. Like
really, and I hear people saying I think that's one of his best. I'm like, I love that album.
I mean, that album, and it maybe Wolf, like his second album, because his first album is like, if we're being real, like his first album is the worst. Like
I don't even remember that. Like, I wasn't a fan then.
Like that was his worst. Just like the way, I don't know how to explain it, but like I think maybe the nostalgia for it makes me love it more. I think the song that changed everything for me on there was She with Frank Ocean. That song was like, wow, he still performs that song. Like that's how fucking crazy it is.
And he's a hell of a performer.
Oh yeah.
Like I got to see him live.
I do too. Yeah,
his performance is wild.
I saw him once walking to his car, and it was like, I can't remember, it was a nice ass car.
Yeah, I remember I seen him a couple times in LA. One in a nice ass car driving, seen him on Fairfax riding bikes and all that shit. Seen him a couple times.
Yeah. I used to dress in my long socks and shorts. Yeah, it was a thing. I cut up my pants, so it'd be
it's that Cali.
I know.
It was that proximity.
I thought it was cool, and I mean, I did it. Here are some songs that I've been listening to pretty recently. Is there's a song called 2 Extra Pumps of Bliss by Enjoy. So there's this band called The Garden, and in The Garden is these two brothers, and it's like Puzzle and Enjoy. That's like their clown names.
That would be Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
The Garden.
It's funny. So they're
Adam and Evan.
Adam and Evan. So Enjoy and Puzzle are the people in and they're twin brothers. They're like models. They have a crazy life. But yeah, Enjoy is one of them. It's a song called 2 Extra Pumps of Bliss. It's very like happy. It's just like a happy.
So they're actually twins.
They're actually twins.
And they're musicians and they're models.
Yes.
So they're good-looking guys.
Let me show you a picture of them, and then you'll be like, oh, I understand.
So they're good-looking guys. Then they're models.
Once I show you the picture, you'll be like, oh, I understand. Let's see.
Because if they're models and musicians, they fucking. Okay, I can see. Yeah, they really fucking.
Oh yeah. Yes. Like 100%. Like these guys are. Look at them.
Oh yeah.
So that's a song I've been listening to pretty recently.
What type of genre is that? Alternative rock?
I would say it's like indie music, I guess. Rock. If you like Mac DeMarco, you'll probably like that. There's a song called "The Perfect Girl." It's like a dark house song. It's by Maru. Mareux. Every song that we've talked about on this episode, I'm gonna try my best to put on a playlist.
I got a dark EDM. LaRue In for the Kill.
Yes, that's a good
song?
one. Yep, LaRue's pretty sick.
That got me like into the EDM house music. We used to go to this place called MJQ in Atlanta, and when we first discovered it, it was the best place ever because it was like this hole in the wall where a lot of people didn't know about. Like you almost had to be. It almost felt like you had to be cool to be there. But what I loved about it, it wasn't about being cool. It was about just being yourself and just having a good time. Like you don't come in there dressed up.
Right.
Like that's not a thing. Like you come in there to dance. Like come in shit that you can move because when they started playing that music, everyone is on the dance floor and it was no judgment. You could be the worst dancer. If you had no rhythm, we don't care. Yeah. Come dance. And there used to always be this one dude in there with a cigarette. And we would laugh because he would always have a cigarette. I think he may have worked there. And he would have it in the air. He'd be dancing like this every time, hitting the beat. He would hit it. And then it was like, I can't wait to see Cigarette Man when we get there. But they would be playing like LaRue. And I would hope he played that every time because it was when you hear it in that type of atmosphere and how dark it is, and when the bass hit, it felt like I was in Blade. Like every time it played, I felt like Blade was gonna come out. Everyone in here was vampires but us, and he was gonna be killing everyone. Cause and her voice on there, that shit was amazing. So that's where I got into. That's the time when my music taste kind of switched.
There was a bar in Ventura called Tavern, and there would be bicycle guy who was always in a bicycle outfit dancing, and so it's like cigarette guy. Every bar got someone like that. Let me see. What's another song that I've been listening to?
Now, look, I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah. I don't know if we're rapping soon or we still going to be going. I just got to really pee.
We're wrapping up
way
right now.
too much water before we started, and during, I was like, I got to pee.
We're wrapping up right now. The 2 more songs that I'm going to recommend is All I Think About Now by Pixies. Pixies, you've seen Fight Club, right? You know the song at the end, Where's My Mind? It's that band.
Okay.
So it's a song that came out in 2016, All I Think About Now. It sounds very similar to Where's My Mind, but the bassist is singing. I can't remember her name right now, but she's singing instead of the guy.
Cheryl.
Sure.
I'll put her name out there, maybe.
If that's her name, that's going to be crazy.
That'll be hilarious.
Let's see. And then the last one is my band song. It's called Smoke Break.
Did you play that when I went?
Yes, we did. Yeah. Cam went recently to a concert of mine, so thanks for going. It's called Smoke Break. It's our newest song. It's kind of what the band is kind of sound is we're going towards. So if you enjoy that, just hit us with the follow on Spotify.
I forgot the names of the 2. I was like, yeah, I like those 2. Was that one of them?
It might have been.
I told you I like.
I might have been. I'll have to show you again and go through there. But that's it for the first episode. Thanks, Cam, for coming on. Like I was saying, every song that we've talked about on this episode, I'm gonna try my best to put in a playlist for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. And then I'll try and come back with a new topic. Every episode's gonna have like a different topic, music related in general. So if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, comment down below, and have a good rest of your day. Peace.